Of the year before. Ryan Hughes owned this track for a couple of seasons in 94, 95 winning. Let's see who gets the whole shot now. Number 1, Ricky Carmichael gives us the roost, and it's the race to the tight corner. He's right in front of Casey Johnson, but it is John Dowd who gets the official hole shot. So Dowdy, who's only 5 points behind Carmichael in the points race, is out in front right now.
And that's the new sweeper right there. You can see how much speed they carry through there. Normally that's a big bottleneck, and the guys get all separated. Right here, the race stays close.
Carmichael, Johnson, Sellards, Ferry, Lyle, Ramsey, Brown, they're all there. And Robbie Rayner, oh, and going down, hitting the back tire is Jimmy Button. Button ran into the rear tire of Dowd. High-sided. He's trying to get back up and get back in the race, number 11.
Well, he's got a long ways to go now. He had a perfect opportunity to just stay right with the leaders, let things unfold in the first couple of laps, play his cards right, and he got a little over anxious right there. Plus the back end of John Dowd swapped out and made things worse.
Carmichael is really right where he's used to being. We haven't seen any great pole shot starts from Carmichael this year, but we see him in second place, taking over the lead throughout the race.
Well, I think that's really a symbol of confidence. He knows that getting the hole shot isn't that big of a deal. What he can do is go out there and do what he's doing right here, take it to Dowd out on the track and not try to make the same mistakes that Button did by trying to go for it too early.
Really the easy inside line for Carmichael. And as he's done so many times throughout this season in his 9 moto wins and 12 tries, taking over the lead early in the first lap.
He's even got the patience to wait till the midway point. If John Dowd's got a good run going, he can stay right there and keep the pressure on John. Let John wear all that pressure and worry about what Carmichael's doing back there behind him. This time, however, he saw the opportunity, the door was open, and he took it.
Ricky Carmichael in command right now. John Dowd's in a good position should he make a mistake, but he doesn't want to let him off the hook, give him too much room. Carmichael's been able to take away with his leads. And Dowdy has to prevent that if he wants to recapture the points lead here today. Whoa, backslide.
Well, what I notice here is that Carmichael took over the lead about a half a lap in, put in a lot of speed since then, and John Dowd's still right there. So it's going to be a long race.
Both riders, you notice, using the hand guards, and of course Unadilla traditionally tough as far as rocks are concerned. I can remember when Mike Kudrowski caught a rock in practice in the top of the hand, breaking a small bone there. It took forever to heal. In fact, it cost him a title. Let's check in with Davey Combs down in the mechanics area. Davey.
Ricky Carmichael's obvious goal this year is to win the 125 National Championship. Before the series started, Ricky told me that his personal goal was also to win at every racetrack that he lost at last year on the way to his first national championship. So far, he's already won at High Point, and he won at Red Bud. Here at Unadilla, where he lost last year, well, so far, so good. He's out front in the first moto.
Ricky Carmichael dominating right now. The Kawasaki has never before won back-to-back 125 titles, David.
Well, it looks like they may have a good chance this year with Ricky Carmichael out front. John Dowd starting to slip back and starting to battle now with Casey Johnson. He'll be riding more defensive.
Casey Johnson, number 20, on the move in third place with Sellards in fourth and Ferry in fifth. We'll be right back. It's the first moto of 125 action from Unadilla, New Berlin, New York, upstate New York. We see John Dowd in second place, Casey Johnson in third right now as Carmichael starting to pull away out in front.
Boy, this hill is so steep, Art. The first time I ever raced here, I couldn't believe I thought it was a joke we had to go down this hill. This is like a hill climb, too, going back up. Each year, these guys get better and better. They get more speed to that corner at the bottom. The brakes improve, the suspension improves, and they take that hill like it's nothing.
With all this natural elevation change at Unadilla and the rough surface, the rocky surface, does that put even a more challenge to the 125s than, say, a more powerful 250 machine?
Well, it doesn't matter what kind of bike you ride. You still got to watch out for the rocks. You coming through a corner like that, and the front wheel hits a big one. That's going to really cause a problem. But as far as the natural terrain here, it's just a pleasure to ride on something for a change. It's not all man-made plateaus and whoop sections and supercross style stuff. I mean, look at the airtime these guys get. They get a nice cushion landing into a big bowl corner, and it's all natural out here. The layout of this land is perfect.
There's Tim Ferry, Robbie Rayner, who after the first lap was in 10th. Raynard sweeping around that new section, cuts inside Ferry, moving into 5th place. So Primal Suzuki's got to be happy with Robbie Raynard's comeback effort here in the first moto after a tough start.
He's still moving forward, and it looks to me like he's the fastest rider on the track right now. It's just time will only tell if he's got enough speed to catch the leaders.
Raynard's had a couple of second-place motos throughout the year, but his best overall finish was Budds Creek at a 5th spot with an 8.6.
He's just flowing around the track right now. Every time he hits a braking bump, or the braking bumps, because you're on the brakes, he's hitting them and getting back on the gas and jumping exactly into the line he wants to get into. He's just flowing. Everything's working good. He's all the way around the outside, cuts back up the middle, keeping a lot of momentum everywhere. That's the key to this racetrack. There's too much stop and go by some of the riders out here, and by the time you look at your lap time, it's really slow. You need to keep a lot of speed through all these sweepers and up the hills.
Tim Ferry racing for Nolene Yamaha, and Robbie Raynard with Suzuki. Robbie, there's never been any question about his speed, but his injury problems throughout his career have really held him back. Obviously, he has found a line that no one else is using.
Wow, that's a beautiful line right there up that sweeper, up that uphill. He came from the outside, angled right back to the inside. He's just coming down the hill right there, just on the inside, the edge of the grass where there's no braking bumps. He's able to get back under power. He's at the edge of the grass coming up the hill, lands on the downside of that little plateau there. Everything's coming together for him perfect right now, and it just looks effortless too. He's just standing up looking like he's just checking the track out.
Brock Sellards, number 36, out of New Philadelphia, Ohio. He's with FMF, and he's the next target for Robbie Raynard. Carmichael's got a real good lead, but Raynard is the fastest bike on the track right now. Here's the sweeper. He goes to the outside this time on Sellards, and yes, he just gets by him. So he went to the inside in the battle for 5th. In the battle for 4th, he goes to the outside.
Yeah, that's definitely his favorite corner on the racetrack, at least his favorite place to pass. And again, before he really made that stick and dropped down into the gravity cavity, hit another one of those braking bumps, he just used it like a jump. Take another look. He keeps a lot more momentum around this sweeper. There he is jumping off that braking bump, jumps over another couple. So he doesn't get that bike dancing around. He's actually using those bumps to his advantage. Most guys are trying to look out for him. He's actually using them, and it's making a much smoother racetrack for him.
So Robbie Raynard really on the move as we take a look at Ricky Carmichael. You know, Carmichael's machine, getting that engine to run 10 degrees cooler, that'll help him out in the Motocross or Trophy des Nations.
Well, they have to run different gas over there. They anticipate the bike running a little bit hotter, and if they can get the temperature down now, not only does that help everywhere, but it'll definitely help in that race.
Different air scoops coming through there to, and it's a larger radiator as well as we take a look at his teammate Casey Johnson. Johnson now is not going as fast per lap as Robbie Raynard, and Raynard is catching up with now Casey Johnson. Johnson's not that far away from first place.
No, we can see it right up there, and you can see right up to John Dowd. Heading into that corner, he's probably thinking, boy, I'd like to make this a 1-2 thing for Mitch Payton here. Have Split Fire go 1-2 in this moto, and all of a sudden now he finds himself under heavy pressure from Raynard. It looks to me, Art, like the pace Raynard has, he can catch Carmichael this moto.
Casey Johnson has looked consistent throughout this season, but he's been unable to get a finish overall-wise better than 4th place. Casey has a 3rd place in a moto this year. That was in Sacramento, the 2nd race of the season. At Redbud in his last race, he got the whole shot, but then traded to 4th. A 4-4 4th finish for Casey Johnson. We'll be right back. Moto number 1 of the 125s continues after this. We're back at Unadilla. First Moto 125 action. And while we were away, Robbie Raynard, who had passed Ferry for 5th, Sellers for 4th, just passed Johnson for 3rd, and now is honing in on John Dowd. The Team Yamaha rider in 2nd place. Raynard has been running from 3 to 3.5 seconds faster per lap than any rider on the track.
You can see it too. Look at the speed he carries through there, all the way down the inside on a wheelie. I'll tell you what, if you want traction to the rear tire, do a wheelie.
Robbie Raynard into second place.
Boy, he's not even stopping there. The last time he came up that section, he was looking over to his left the whole time, seeing where Carmichael was. All these riders between himself and Carmichael don't even matter. Right now, all he cares about is that race leader.
It's obvious his Suzuki is up to the task, and he's very confident. He's not going to accept anything but first place, it looks like.
That's right, and if I'm John Dowd, the title's on the line. I know it's too early to start counting points. That's what you hear from these guys. That's a bunch of bull. It's important. He should care and just copy everything that Raynard's doing right now. Follow all of his lines. He's obviously doing it right. Just do the same things and follow him right up there to Carmichael and turn it into a three-way battle. You never know how that could play out.
Carmichael with 4 wins on the season. Lamson and Dowd, the other two with victories, overall victories on the 125 year. But still, it's only a 5-point margin with Carmichael over Dowd.
Look at Raynard right here. Wide open, doesn't even shut off through that corner. He didn't even back off. I don't even think he downshifted. He's just motoring and still reaches up for a tear off. He's gaining ground everywhere.
What a drop into gravity cavity.
Yeah, that's a lot of G-force down there. Look at where that fence banner, actually, that streamer's blown out into the wind, almost catches his handlebar. He's got to be careful to dodge that, but you see he's gaining time. That mechanics area is starting to get exciting, letting Carmichael know, you better get on the gas, because there he is. He can feel it. The crowd's into it now.
And Carmichael, in first place, is not going nearly as fast as Robbie Raynard. Let's see if Raynard could keep it up.
Well, when you watch him, the body language, and you see where they're on and off the power, Carmichael's trying hard right here. He's giving it everything he's got, but his lines aren't quite as nice. That rear wheel slides off into a hole, gets a little more wheel spin here and there. Raynard just, his timing is just a little bit better right now, and his lines are a little bit better, and that's allowing him to gain ground in a few different places on the racetrack. Right now, Carmichael knows that he's trying to pick up the pace, and it's so difficult to respond. You're going the best you can. Your lines are all coming together. He had the lead for a while, and all of a sudden this guy shows up out of nowhere, and you got to change everything, and you can't always do that.
Here's where endurance really comes into play in motocross. The longer motos. Robbie Raynard now is in position to look for opportunities.
I think both these guys are in pretty good shape. Carmichael making mistakes, and that's just pressure. Maybe the last few times through there, he didn't have anybody bothering him. He was able to go through that corner and not make a mistake at all. Run through there perfectly smooth. This time, came down the hill a little bit harder, got off balance.
Plus, Raynard's got the element of surprise in his favor.
Absolutely. Well, he's got nothing to lose here. He can probably drop it in the corner and still end up second.
Dropping that visor down to protect from the rocks.
That hurts. Every time you cross that line, you feel all those rocks. Here comes Raynard's favorite turn.
Carmichael shutting him off, but Raynard takes to the inside. Whoa, the most surprised guy in the whole track has got to be Ricky Carmichael. The number 21 has come from 10th place and has taken the lead.
That was just beautiful, too. The way that Raynard got into that corner, hit another break and bump, jumped the whole top of that hill, got right into the downside. Another look at the pass. Carmichael looks over, says, no, you're not getting me through here. Blocks him to the outside, and Raynard says, that's okay, I'll just take you on the inside. He can go anywhere he wants. He's riding this track perfect, and his bike's obviously set up so it allows him to.
So one of the few times this year that Ricky Carmichael, after taking the lead, has been passed, barring a crash or mechanical. Robbie Raynard. And it's got the fans stirred up, some 15,000 fans here at Unadilla. Scott Sheik still battling the track.
You can see the difference when you go back to Sheik from watching the leaders. Not as much momentum here and there, and front end dancing around a little bit more. A little bit of wheels wash out through that off camber right there. It's a little bit of difference between these guys and the leaders.
Sheik has moved into 5th on the leaderboard. We'll be right back with more Moto 1 of the 125s after this. Welcome back to Unadilla. Number 21, Robbie Raynard on the final Suzuki, has passed Ricky Carmichael, has just blitzed this course. And the question now is, can Robbie Raynard go the distance and not make any mistakes? Not feel the pressure himself, David?
Well, he's good at doing well in one moto. The tough part for him has been the consistency of doing well in both motos, putting it all together the same day. But, man, right now the way he's riding, I think he could even make a huge mistake and still win this moto. He's just left Carmichael.
Last year, he had a second overall at Southwick, but he hasn't won an overall since 1995 when he took two. The last one was Millville, and the opener that year at Gainesville.
When he's on, he is on. Beautiful to watch.
And how tough the track is doesn't seem to matter.
Nathan Ramsey getting
a little loose there.
Yeah, he went down to that corner trying to make something happen against Sellards and got off into that loose stuff. That berm got destroyed at the bottom of the hill. Now you have to pick your way through there, and he just went out a little bit wide. And here comes Brown.
Brown, kind of a disappointing moto after coming off two consecutive overall nice finishes. But Brock Sellards, number 36. Ferry, number 22. Nathan Ramsey, and then Michael Brown.
Brown is charging forward, but still a little bit too late in the race. He's got all these guys to try to get. I don't know if he can get them all before the race is over with, but he'll know that he was riding good and hopefully come out in the second moto, correct that start, get up there and run where he's supposed to be.
F&F very happy with the development of Brock Sellards. Going to try, I think, to retain him next year. Their 125 Honda support team.
This is a good battle here. All these guys are pretty equal in talent. It's a lot of depth, but boy, just to get out there and try to run with Carmichael and the way Raynard's riding this moto and Dow, those guys have just been a notch above, and it's been a big gap back to these guys. And when you get back here, it's good racing.
Here comes Ferry, number 22 from Largo, Florida, giving the challenge to Brock Sellards. Ferry coming off the injured list in the Supercross season. He's looking for his best finish of the year in the outdoors right now. Sellards looking back to see who's there.
That's because Ferry went in there and just run his tire all over the swing arm. So, excuse me, get out of the way, I'm coming. And he wants to get around him because he can feel the pressure now from Ramsey and Brown. That's changed a little more heat on him. If he can get out front, maybe he can get away from these guys.
Ferry to the inside. Ferry makes the pass into sixth.
That feels good. Anytime you got a battle and you can start feeling the heat from behind, try to put everybody behind you and get clear. Let all those guys dice behind you.
Tim Ferry, of course, famous for winning the 125 Eastern Region Supercross Championship in 1997, finishing second at every race except St. Louis, where he took a fifth. Did not win a Supercross race, but still took the title. Here is our leader on the final lap. White flag for Robbie Raynard. One of his happiest moments, I think, right now. Robbie signed for record amounts of money, coming out as an outstanding amateur champion. Signed as soon as he turned 16 with Kawasaki, and then really had some disappointments. But now he's having to battle the lappers.
You can see that was kind of a close call getting to the mechanics there. He was on the inside. He was not going down, but still you can see anything can happen. You know what I like about what Robbie did is when he caught Carmichael, he didn't even give him a chance to study his lines. He just pulled away. And right now I think what he's looking at is the fact that this Unadilla track changes so drastic between motos. He's obviously got better lines right now, and he's probably studying a few new ones so that the second moto rolls around, he'll have an advantage.
I wonder if he woke up the sleeping giant for the second moto, though.
Oh, I'm sure Carmichael will come out swinging, but he didn't have anything to answer him this time, so how can he do it again? Actually, he is starting to close a little bit. Now you can see him getting into the picture. He's making a last-ditch effort, but I think possibly Raynard got out there, got that big lead, saw the white flag, figured, well, I'll tone it down a notch, and at the same time, Carmichael up. Now he is able to see a little bit of what Raynard's doing. So that theory I just threw out there, well, maybe that's not working so good in this final half a lap.
In Raynard's first year in '93, he was Rookie of the Year. And the major reason, of course, was winning Delmont, the last motocross of the season. Whoa, anything can happen, as you said.
Yeah, he hit that berm hard. What he had to do was hit it hard and cut across that middle section, which is where we saw Ramsey get all fouled up earlier. It's kind of a three-part berm. He hit the early spot, got across the inside clean, and Carmichael has made a very good effort here at the end.
A valiant effort by Carmichael, but Raynard didn't feel the pressure, takes the checkered